There's two ways of looking at the Lexus LX570. It's either a very expensive Toyota 200 series or it's a cheap 8-seat Lexus. But whichever way you look at it, it's still a hell of a lot of car for the money. Considering the top-spec LandCruiser Sahara V8 lists for 115k, and we're talking 143 grand plus on roads for the LX570. Now, by comparison, that's around 115 grand less than the cheapest Range Rover V8 equivalent. Only you still won't get the same level of kit on board. It really is an enormous vehicle at almost 5.1 metres in length, 2 metres wide and nearly 1.9 metres tall. Now, it also tips the scales at more than 2.7 tonne with the additions pack. And while we're on the subject of massive, take a look inside here. Not only is this an 8-seater with proper lap sash seat belts for all and 10 airbags, it's also got a ton of luggage space. Even with the third row in place and a car full of kids, you've still got plenty of room for the weekly grocery shop. That's 259 litres back there. That huge spindle grille is hard to miss, but it's in line with the brand's current corporate face. And of course there are LED headlights and those cool sequential turn signals. It also rolls on massive 21-inch wheels, but I'm not sure it's the best looking thing in town. About the only thing that the LX570 doesn't have would be a fully digital instrument display like most of its rivals have. But to say this thing is fully loaded would still be the understatement of the year, because the list of creature comforts and features is simply ridiculous. It would go on for pages and pages. You name it, the LX570 has it. Simple as that. Everything is big on this thing. There's a 12.3-inch super sharp infotainment screen to kick things off, but it still uses that clumsy mouse-like controller that just never feels intuitive, whether you're standing still or on the move. Adding to that, there's a head-up display and easy entry air suspension that drops the car for better ingress. Soft leather upholstery, of course, and electric steering column adjustment and power everything, including tailgate and everything else you can imagine. The kids will love their own 11.6-inch dual high-def screens and a 19-speaker high-end sound system by Mark Levinson that is truly up there with the best, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Now, as well as all the luxury kit you get in this car, Lexus have also crammed in a full suite of all the latest active safety systems, like pre-collision safety, blind spot monitoring, active cruise control, rear cross traffic alert, lane departure warning, and I could go on, but new to this model is pedestrian detection. Now, that's effectively part of the pre-collision safety, which can effectively apply the brakes if it detects a person between 10 and 80 k's an hour. So there you have it. But what this thing does, first and foremost, is transport lots of people in sheer comfort. Under the bonnet, there's still that same heavy drinking 5.7 litre V8 petrol engine with a comfortable 270 kilowatts and 530 newton metres. Now, as you'd expect in this large luxury segment, you also get a drive mode selector, and in comfort and normal modes, this thing does exactly what you want it to do. Simply glides along with effortless grace via that beautifully smooth 8-speed auto. But slip it into Sport or Sport Plus, and that initial getaway is a lot more urgent. Still smooth, mind, and less power assist for better steering feel. Now, this is one SUV that simply crushes any bump before it. But in any one of those less aggressive drive modes, there's also a good deal of body roll. You're just always aware of this car's humongous heft. For sure, that body roll is reduced in the sportier drive modes, but there's just no escaping the fact that this thing weighs over 2.7 tonne. The good thing about being this big is that you can tow plenty, in this case 3.5 tonne. It'll also go just about anywhere you want to take it off-road. But is that something you really want to do with your luxury SUV? If that's a yes, then this thing has an armoury of off-road systems borrowed from the Toyota's LandCruiser to make all that so easy. It's growing on me, the size I mean. Just not sure I want to fill it up. Not when it's using between 18 and 22 litres per 100 Ks. Well, that's what we've seen this week. It's not the most dynamic SUV on the planet, but then again, it doesn't profess to be either. But for value for money, space, luxury, and that bulletproof reliability, the LX570 is a hard unit to beat.